I travel a lot of for work. So that means I don't always have the optimal time to sit at home, do my workouts like I need to. This morning I needed to get to the airport nice and early, so I missed my workout. I had a rehit that I was supposed to do. Now I'm gonna have to do it tonight here at the hotel gym. Adjust, overcome, adapt, right? As veterans and former athletes, that's what we're used to. We're used to long, structured workouts. But the problem is that doesn't fit real life anymore, especially once you get older and you start having older kids, maybe you have grandkids. It doesn't work anymore. You're traveling, you're moving around. A structured life like that, that's not a workout plan that works for longevity. It works for getting immediate goals, but not for long-term success. The days of spending hours in the gym, hour at PT to run for 30 minutes, then dog it out doing calisthenics for another 30. That's not how it works. That's not how longevity works. Yes, it gets you great in battle mode. It gets you great for the next game, but it doesn't set you up for success over the long haul. And more research is starting to show that those long drawn out sessions, they really don't work. What we really need, especially as we age, are shorter workouts, more intense, with more recovery, intentional recovery, not just walking around and settling saying that we're done. So that leads us to the why and the how. Why does this work and how does it work? Well, why? Why it works is because we're trying to target visceral fat. That's the number one indicator for longevity. Not cholesterol, not blood pressure, not diabetes, but visceral fat. That's the precursor to all of those things. If you can reduce visceral fat, that will extend your life, period. It's the number one marker. How? How do you reduce visceral fat? Guess what? It's not zone 2. Zone 2 does increase your cardiac output. It does help your heart, but it doesn't affect visceral fat. Again, Dr. Sean O'Mara has shown this time and time again, that visceral fat is the enemy, and zone 2 actually increases it. It doesn't decrease it. So what's the answer? You're gonna think it's silly, and it does. It sounds really silly. Sprints? Why would I want to sprint? Nobody sprints anymore. After you hit 20, you don't sprint anymore. Maybe you chase your kids around a little bit, and that's from one side of the room to the other. That's about it. Maybe if you have a dog that gets off the leash, you head off and you do a quick sprint. That's about it, and then you're gasping for air. But what does sprinting do? How does it help you? Sprinting actually targets what matters most, your mitochondria. I've talked about it before, I've alluded to it. It's starting to get a lot of press. Mitochondria is what matters. In sprinting, hard, intense workouts for just a few seconds hits harder and stronger and recruits those mitochondria better than zone 2 can even attempt to accomplish. Zone 2 is like that Prius. It's going down the highway at 50 miles an hour. It's going nice and strong and good, and it's being very efficient, but it's not building anything. And stress is what builds. I want you to think of sprint training like that dragster. It needs a big, heavy, healthy engine that can produce energy hard and fast in order to accelerate down that strip. That's the difference. That's what you need, and you can do it. And here's the biggest stickler, and something we can't escape. Recovery is the real enemy. We may have time for those long workouts, but recovery takes longer as you age. It's just a fact. You can't get away from it. Now, you can improve your recovery systems, but they're still not going to be the same that they were when you were younger. And then with that comes the recovery techniques to where you actually learn to actively recover, not just relax, not just massage, but recover not just your muscles, but your nervous system. So if you'll excuse me, I've got to go do my workout. If you want to follow along, come on in our community. We'll be expanding more over the next few weeks. Strength, stillness, fuel. You've got this.